my name's Bianca and welcome to my Bookworm Sanctuary, or welcome back. So today I wanted to do my end of month wrap up. Unfortunately, I've already done my end of month wrap up, but I lost the footage. I don't know what happened to it, to be honest. Could have deleted it, but who knows? So here I am again. So with my end of month wrap up, I basically want to give you my stats and then I'll just let you know the remaining books that I read for the rest of the month. This month in April, I already did a mid-month wrap up. So that includes the first 13 books that I read, and then this is the remaining ones, basically. So with the books that I read for this month, I read 23 books, but one of those was a DNF. Out of those, there was 21 new reads and 2 reread. The star ratings for those were 4 3 stars, 5 4 stars, and 13 5 stars. And I read 6,184 pages this month, which I feel like is a little bit of a record. Out of those, there was 6 audio, 10 ebook, and 7 physical books. And the genres for them were roughly 1 alien, 6 YA or young adult, 5 contemporary, 1 historical, 2 rock stars, 1 retelling, and 6 apocalypse dystopian books. I'm actually not 100% certain what the difference is between apocalypse books and dystopian books. I guess I'm going to have to look that up, but anyway. So with the books that I read for the rest of the month, they were basically all rereads. Not all rereads, sorry. They were all basically ebooks or audiobooks for the rest of the month. So I guess after The Dark Calling, I read The Hating Game, but I guess it wasn't really reading The Hating Game because it was a DNF. I haven't finished it. I'm sorry, don't kill me. I like it. I tend to get a little bored with contemporary, and no fault to the book or anything like that. I just ended up putting it down. So yeah, I'll get back to it eventually. And then I read Electric Idol by Katie Robert. This was a retelling, Eros and Psyche retelling, and I enjoyed this. It was good. Not very memorable, though, unfortunately. I mean, it was sweet. Psyche helps Eros out, and then he sort of has to kill her, but decides not to and marries her instead, basically. And it was good, but I just feel like there wasn't much to it. And then I read Total Exposure by R.A. Huss, D.A. Huss, something like that. This one was an audiobook, and I really loved this. Absolutely loved it. Trigger warnings for this, though, for anxiety and just mental health in general, I guess. I can't remember the main character's name. I think her name was Evangeline, but don't hold me to that. A lot of books lately I've been reading have Evies or Evangelines, so they're all blurring together. So basically with this, Evangeline is like a gifted violinist, child prodigy sort of thing. But as she grew up, she ended up getting some issues with going outside and with things about being watched. And I get that. I get that. I get that, but yeah, I just feel like she was on the extreme spectrum of it. And the way they handled it to help her overcome them or to progress with them. She does this thing with Ixiom, and Ixiom is basically watching her 24/7, so there's cameras everywhere. And the way he handles it, I don't necessarily agree with in real world aspects, but it worked completely as a book. Like, I absolutely loved it. It was very sexy, very hot. It also just, spoke to me. I don't know what it was about the book. It was good. It was really, really good. And then I read Runner by Evie Mitchell. So this is part of the Nameless Souls books. There's 3 out at the moment, and it took me like 5 minutes to realise the 4th book's not out yet. And I was a little disappointed, but it is what it is. So with Runner, It's based in Australia, but the world basically goes kaput. Pretty sure due to a virus as well, so keep that in mind. Um, and these group of women have basically set up their home in their older university and are surviving quite well until they're threatened and they need help by this motorcycle club that is nearby. And one of the girls has connections to the motorcycle club, so they end up getting help by the men, which is great. And Runner and Ellie basically hook up straight away, and that's really kinky. And Ellie's their biochemist thing. She can make biofuel. She's kind of intelligent. All of the women are intelligent. They all sort of have a skill set that helps them survive, and it did them well until it didn't. So, and now they're with the motorcycle club, and yeah, it's fantastic. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And then Wrath is the second book in the Nameless Souls series, so that's by Evie Mitchell as well. And this one is about Kate and Wrath, and Kate and Wrath have known each other since they were teenagers, or for a long time. And Kate's turned into a little shy and reserved in some ways, and Wrath doesn't like that. And they have to go on a road trip, I guess, with some others. And yeah, I loved Wrath and Kate. He was very, very sexy. And then there's Ghost by Evie Mitchell. Ava and Ghost. Ava's like their, what is she? She's like their army girl. I think she was in the army, something like that. Anyway, so she's their weapons woman. And Ghost has basically been trailing Ava, and he and Ava have this thing, and they have to go off. They separate from the group and they go off and rescue some girls in this sort of like gladiator style thing. And yeah, so that was fantastic. So I read those three, and then I read, I think they're called The World's End by Susanna Strom. Pandemonium is the first book. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But look, I read three of these books: Pandemonium, Maelstrom, and Bedlam. I don't know why I read them. I mean, they must have been good. Otherwise, I wouldn't have continued reading them. And I guess I was in a bit of a apocalypse, end of world sort of mood. And I guess after the Nameless Souls books, I sort of was like, I want more. But there was no more yet. So I went on to these. This one's about Mackenzie, and this is very, very triggering. This is probably much more darker than the other ones. They're just really dark, actually, when I think about it. And it shows how the world actually collapsed, if that makes sense. And a virus, so a bit triggering there. Keep that in mind. And this virus basically wipes out everybody, more or less. And Mackenzie is a university student studying, I can't remember what, and she has this ex-boyfriend and a best friend, and the best friend's going off home with her boyfriend and Mackenzie's ex-boyfriend, because they all in the same Richie sort of neighbourhood. And Mackenzie decides she wants to stay in the area, and her cousin actually lives nearby, and he's a prepper, but he's a bit autistic. So yeah, I loved Miles. An old mate, I can't think of his name now for the life of me. I'm really hopeless with names. But he's a next door neighbour to Miles, and he's a biker. But the biker motorcycle club doesn't really have a thing much to do with this. So yeah, and then so her and the next door neighbour, Mackenzie, and the next door neighbour sort of hook up and do their thing. And then a few weeks later, her ex-boyfriend shows up, and it's just them sort of trying to survive the end of the world. And lots of crap is happening in this book, lots and lots. And I probably would say the romance almost takes a back seat to what's going on in the world. So it was, yeah. And the second book, Maelstrom, is sort of a continuation on Mackenzie and old mate's romance, and everything that's been going on. So they've had to leave the safety of home and they're off, off and about. So things are happening and they're meeting more people and just sort of going from there. And then Bedlam is about the ex-boyfriend. I think his name was Sam. Can't remember though. And he goes back to his hometown basically, and just to make sure that what he suspects is true, that everybody's gone, and he finds out, or he finds his best friend's sister, and they, hook up and stuff. And it's her not wanting to really leave because she has people that are still around that she cares about. But I think I can't remember his name, but he wants her to sort of leave with him back to the safety with Mackenzie and all the others. Rafe, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, they were good books, but I mean, they must have been good books. I kept reading them for fuck's sake. But I just, didn't really like them. They were my 3 stars for the month. Or 3 of the 3 stars. And then I read Evie Mitchell. I read Clean Sweep by Evie Mitchell. This one is a novella, or really, really short. It's like under 100 pages. Really recommend it though. Single dad, has a couple of infant babies, has a hugely messy house. His family intervenes. In comes Lorna, like the queen of clean sort of thing. And it's sort of a little insta-lovey, and it was great. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think it's part of the Thor's Shipyard series, or Shipworld, something like that. I think it's Shipyard, Thor's Shipyard. So Eric, I'm pretty sure his name is like a co-owner of the shipyard. They make boats and yachts and things like that. And then the X List is another book I read by Evie Mitchell. And this one is a continuation of Thor's Shipyard as well. And it's about the youngest brother, Rune. And I think her name was Kate. I can't remember. I really should write their names down. Sorry. But she basically is the apprentice for Eric and the shipyard. And she has a prosthetic leg, which most people sort of underestimate her because of that. But Rune is attracted to her, but the moment he sort of realizes she doesn't read, he's sort of like, ugh. He owns his own bookshop cafe thing, and he is hot as hell, and he loves to read, and yeah, just fantastic. So that one wasn't a very big book either. It was just over 100 pages. So yeah, that was the rest of the books that I read for this month, basically. So I'm not sure if I'll do a mid-month wrap-up in May. It just totally depends on how many books I read. So we'll see. I definitely did a higher amount of reading this month. I think. Who knows? So yeah, that was basically all the books that I've read in April. Like I said, I already did a mid-month wrap-up, so if you want to check that out, please do. Yeah, that's about it really, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.